Okay. Look, I know. This is extremely late, but I'm sure you guys still out here supporting your boy, and I appreciate you guys. Yo, what is going on, my husband knows and waifus? My name is HERMSAUR, and welcome to another review for you guys. Well, more so, it's just gonna just talk. It is a review, but also it's me talking. I haven't seen the episode since I watched it, but we are going to talk about Sword Art Online Alicization episode number 5. This episode it's weird, and I understand, okay? And this is where I always come to the stance where I understand the backlash that Sword Art Online gets, but also it's weird because I feel like the backlash that this season is getting is, in a sense, most of the time, it's not justified. What people are saying when people talk about Sword Art Online is that it's trash, and in this episode in particular, it's not in terms of what's going on with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito, it's what's happening in the real world. And for people who aren't caught up with the anime, and this is going to be quick spoilers, pretty much, Kirito looks like he is in a coma. While he is in this coma, he's actually in the game. The game is based off of soul, Flucklights, and etc. So that's why he's actually in the game. He's subconsciously inside of the game while he's in the Americas. But most of the people that are pretty much downgrading this anime, they haven't even watched it. They haven't even tried watching it. I understand the first episode is like 40-something minutes. That'll usually turn people away, but those 47 minutes or whatever it was is definitely needed to understand the anime. You can watch it in 2 parts if you can't handle it. I realized that this was all the way up there. I apologize. People are like, Hermes, you just have a bias because you do like SAO. I do like SAO, but I understand that it's like it has its really bad past and its faults as well. Like, for example, Kirito's harem is annoying as fuck. I understand that. Kirito is overpowered. I understand that. Alfheim was like definitely boring. I understand that. But this is completely on a different thing. And when you expect an anime that's as big as Alicization, what it's going to do, what's happening in this episode, and we'll talk about this episode now, I guess. But pretty much this episode is going back into the real world because the past episodes have been Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much training to get to Alice. But now, in this episode, we kind of get brought back to reality, what's happening in the real world. One of the major questions that I had is what's up with Kirito, because we don't know what happened to him after he got stabbed by the death gun. So now we're kind of just like, we're left in like question for a long time, at least for people who aren't reading the light novel. So I was like, okay, I hope it gets answered, because if it doesn't answer this portion of what's happening, then pretty much this anime is just skipping just to get to the good parts. Yes, I understand that this episode did not have action at all. It was pretty much just an explanation of what's happening in the real world. We see this is like Asuna's episode and her working with everyone else, all of Kirito's friends, to try to find where he is, because after he got stabbed by that death gun, they did not know his whereabouts. He was supposedly transferred to this hospital that has the care that he needs, but he was actually transferred to California in this water turtle looking, but they say it's a turtle, but it looks like a goddamn pyramid. But they say he was transported there, but he was transported to the Americas so they can continue to do research on this world. I had this theory that guy, the guy that Kirito is supposedly friends with, like that he's like some type of police or agent, is a bad guy. That is my predictions, because this is all types of fucked up. On top of that, like we know that fucking Heathcliff was fucking that one chick, bro. My boy. The fact that she was willing to work with Asuna to kind of get her to this island in California was fucking amazing. I think my main point of me talking about this is that this episode, I enjoyed it because it was answering the questions that I had. I understand that people don't want to see this. They want to be constantly hit with action and stuff. But sometimes we need to build up and we need explanations on things. Because if you just have constant action after action, at least for me as a watcher, and of course my review is opinionated, and I always suggest to watch other reviewers. There might be someone that's reviewing this that says this episode is a waste of time, complete trash, which a lot of people have said. But for me personally, this episode was definitely needed for us to build more on what's happening with Kirito. We did not know what was happening to him in the real world. So the fact that we were getting this, it was useful for me as a watcher, not a reader, but as a watcher, to kind of gather intel on how everyone is reacting into the real world. So I feel like this episode was done well to the point where we're getting explanations. My only complaint is if this prolongs, okay? I understand 2 episodes of this explanation is fine, but if they go beyond 2 episodes, I'm gonna complain. I even feel like they could have even made this just this whole episode of this Asuna trying to find Kirito and the explanation of everything that's going on. But I feel like it's so big because we've already learned that everything that's happening in Alicization is so much larger than what we're perceiving it to be. There's going to be a lot of explanation that we don't even know personally. So I think it's going to be 2 episodes, which is fine. But if it goes 3 episodes, I might be like, okay, come on, pick it up a little bit. Pacing is usually an issue with all types of all anime. My Hero Academia, Black Clover. There's always some type of pacing issue that we see, and since this is a long-running anime, they might make this longer than it should have. I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that. I'm really hoping, because even I know light novelists who have read this, they don't know how the pacing is going to be. They know what's going to happen, but they don't know how long they're going to explain this. Will they add extra shit that we don't need? We don't know. But from what I'm hearing is that the anime is being very true to the light novel, and it's so far fantastic. And I feel like this episode, despite the backlash that people have been giving it, I feel like this episode was good. It's not amazing, it's not great, but it was good because this is things that I wanted to know. These are questions that I had that were being answered. That is just my personal opinion. Of course, people might have other opinions. Like I said, watch other people, watch it yourself, and develop the opinion yourself. And I'm glad that you guys enjoy me doing it this way. But yeah, that's essentially what I really wanted to talk about this in this review. There was not much for me to say except, like, you know, Asuna going in. These are my predictions. She was able to go through the system and etc. I actually personally enjoyed it, and I love Asuna. Asuna is like one of my very first waifus in general, so I wanted to see all of this. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I know this review is really late, but I feel like this episode was not as bad as what people made it to be. Just my opinion though. Alright, you guys have a good one.